sleep every night.
Okay.
7 hours of makeup. I would go into work at 3 o'clock in the morning. I do 7 hours of makeup. I'd work 16 to 18 hours after that. Takes an hour and a half to take the makeup off. I would get in the car, drive home, sleep for 2.5 hours, get up, and go back to work to sit in 7 hours of makeup again, work 18 more hours, and I did this for 51 days. And that's why I cried.
Yeah.
I think you earned those tears.
I did.
Absolutely.
I did. And what's great is fans. I'm looking at all my my comments. I posted a picture on Instagram, and I don't erase comments. So you got some negativity to say, unless it's something really stupid, I'll delete it. But I let it live. Man, people, I love our people. They watching it at work. This is hilarious. But I'm looking at every comment, and the fans love it, and that's who I do it for. Critics are never gonna love what I do. I just, for some reason, it's just the way the preconceptions that they have, pre-notions that they have. They're programmed a certain way when it comes to our movies. They want to hate on our movies, although most of Wayans' movies are classics. You show me a movie that 30 years later people go, yo, this was funny. We got Don't Be a Menace, Scary Movie 2, White Chicks,
I was about to say White Chicks.
Little Man. Like, we have this just 5 right there. People still bother me about a haunted house. Still crazy. Like, that was 8 years ago. Don't Be a Menace was 30 years ago. Wayans' TV show was 20 years ago. Yes, but people still love our movies now. White Chicks love worldwide. And how many stars the critics gave it? 1.5. My daughter was like, Dad, they gave 1.5 stars to White Chicks, and all I could do was shrug and just go, that's how they want to remember us. That's what they want to do us. But the one thing that we have that they can never take away from is the smiles that we give our fans. Jerry Lewis was panned, Jim Carrey was panned. A lot of great comedians are panned critically. It's not a genre. When was the last time a comedian won an Academy Award for a comedic performance? It's just the way it is. But like I said, I look at the comments on my Instagram and I see the tears, fire sign. Like, people are laughing and enjoying this worldwide, and that's why I do it.
So is the I guess I don't know if anybody else is the film critic, but as a film critic amongst a bunch, to build on what you said do you to kind of play the devil's advocate, do you feel as though that sometimes it's not that they don't dislike, I can only speak for myself, it's not a dislike, but I think we're at a time where, because of things like Netflix, because you have streaming and we have more outlets, whereas when you got into the business, it was like movie theaters and then your channels. You didn't have A&E, you didn't have all these other outlets, that we're saying there's more room at the table. There's more room to tell different facets of who we are. And you feel like with this, right, when I saw your characters, I was like, were you inspired by Eddie Murphy with Nutty Professor? Or was that like just you saying, you know what, even though he did this, I want to put my spin on that type of a storytelling?
In history, every young artist is inspired by a great artist before them. Eddie just so happens to be that artist for me, as Richard was for him. Richard did Which Way Is Up, where he played multiple characters. Richard was inspired by Peter Sellers, who did it in Dr. Strangelove. Peter Sellers was inspired by Charlie Chaplin, who did it in The Dictator. So greats always inspire others to want to go down the same path, but you got to do it different. Eddie did the ultimate when he put on the makeup, right? Richard did it, but Richard had cotton on his face when he was, what are you doing, what, boy? He had the cotton on his face, boy, and the preacher, he was just like, he had the slick hair. But when Eddie did it and he put on the costume, it was mind-blowing. So you have to do it, you take it up a notch. Not only did I do the costumes and the characters, because to me the characters is not the costumes. And that's not the you built the soul of the character before you even put the costume on. So I knew what Russell, how he's gonna sit, I knew how he's gonna look, I knew his position of his body, I knew his hands, I felt his weight. Everything about him was very subtle. I knew that before I put the costume on and create the costume that goes over him to go, all right, so this is now him in physical form. I knew who Ethan was. I knew his action, I knew his eyes, I knew his slick way about him, I knew what tooth I'm gonna put the gold one on. I knew it. But what makes it different is in Eddie's movies is lock off and over the shoulders, lock off, camera sit still. This movie, we did Avengers technology on a sole plane budget. Our cameras are moving, our characters are interacting. I take keys out of my own hand. I hit myself in the head. I jump on myself. I'm doing things. This is and not two scenes. This is an entire movie where one guy is playing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people at one time, the entire movie. Not just, oh, here's this scene. No, once he meets Russell, every scene damn near he's in with 3 or 4 of his siblings interacting. That is different. This is an entire movie that is basically a buddy comedy with 7 people, and it's an entire movie. So you take it up a notch, and I never, you never could take, right, in comedy, you can never take a comedian never takes another comedian's thing. We're very precious about it. But just because my character's big, my character and Eddie's character was completely different. Professor Clump, he talked like this, and he had the kind of mannerism, and that's so different than Russell. You know what I'm saying? It's a completely different, because my life experience is different than Eddie's. The characters that I know that are inside the souls of the characters that we're doing are different, right? Even though Rasputia, it's a whole nother thing. And I did Dawn, and this Dawn is based on a lot of girls that I know, because it's a lot of girls that we know. No, but that's real talk. I took 2 of my sisters and I threw them bitches together, and that's who Dawn is, okay? But these are real people. I can't steal that, nor would I ever. Comedians, I don't want your joke. I want to create my own joke, because that makes my legacy. If I take your thing, what's funny? You go online, after people see the movie, rarely do you see any Clump reference. The only time you see a Clump reference is like, yo, you did this, well, yo, y'all did that too. And it's like, thank you. I appreciate that.
Do you plan on, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Do you plan on incorporating any of the characters into your stand-up? And do you think the characters will live on in another, like a sequel in something like Girlfriend Moving On like that? You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't incorporate into my stand-up. I like when my stand-up, this act that I have now, my first special, I talk about the world. The next one, I'm talking about myself, I'm talking about life, I'm talking about life experiences, I'm talking about things that's going on in my life that I would like to express from an emotional place that just so happens to be a very funny point of view on that. So I'm not going to put that into my stand-up, because I want to let this live in its own universe. And hopefully, who knows, maybe they spin off like the Avengers, and we do the Russell movie, and you do the Dawn movie, and Dawn and Russell do a movie together, and then they go find the father, and that'd be great. But if it's a really good story, and I don't want to do it just for money, and I don't want to do it just because it's an opportunity to do. No, I want to do it because it's naturally came to me, and I was inspired to go, oh, this would be a funny story, and it has to mean something. I don't want to do it. I'm not at that point in my life where I just want to go get checks. I still want to make people laugh. I want to make people hurt. People ask, why you sweat so much? Because I'm working, motherfucker. I'm fucking working. Comedy goddamn hard. My adrenaline is up, and I'm working. Like, if you watch episodes of Marlon, I'm not like, give me a tissue. No, tissues happen after. Right now, I'm working. Ain't no vanity in comedy. I'm out here trying to get these laughs. I'm out here trying to make people feel, and I'm out here trying to leave a legacy of laughter behind. And when I'm gone, the only thing that I have left will be the things that I did on screen that hopefully give a smile to somebody who's having a bad day, because that's my purpose that God put me here to do. That's my angelic duties. My job is to not change your life. I hope to change your mood so that I make you feel good. When you smile and you laugh, just somewhere up there, I'm feeling good about it.
I have a question. So
Yes.
speaking of legacy, how does it feel to you're the youngest brother and now you're basically carrying a legacy on with Marlon and these movies now? So how does it feel?
I don't know. I'm not looking up yet. I'm so busy, like, got my head down working that I haven't had time to really look up and take a break and go, yeah, I'm doing it. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
heads down. I'm just running. The only thing that feels good to me is that I remember being a young boy on my brother Keenan's set. I'm gonna get you sucker. And I remember how much that meant to me to see my big brother work and to see he allowed us to be on set with him and allowed us to watch him put together this great movie and like students, or he let me sit in on a business meeting, or when the censor came in on Living Color, he tapped me and be like, I want you guys to listen. Me and my brother would sit in and we listen to the censor tell him he can't say this, and my brother would say, don't tell me what I can say. Don't tell me what I can't say. Tell me how I can. I'm happy that now I got my brother's kids on my set, and I'm paying forward what he taught me. And I have them in the meetings, and I have them in the writer's room, and I have them on my set. Damon's son on Marlon, he's out of my pocket. I pay him. Come on down. And on this joke, here's how this joke is better. Little Keenan, he's on set with me, and he's he writes, and I'm like, nah, that I like out of these 10 jokes, I like this one, and here's why I like it. My nephew Greg stands in for me on Marlon, stood in me. I got my kids, my brothers and sisters' kids, and that to me, allowing them the opportunity to learn. My daughter come intern at my company. That to me is really where I feel good, because I remember that little opportunity what it's afforded me in terms of helping out my family.
Netflix has become a very popular format.
That is too powerful. We got to do something about this.
And then there was a backlash when Spielberg said it should not, be have Oscar nominations because it's not really a movie format or whatever. But he has since backed off of that. Why was Netflix the perfect platform for this?
Well, Netflix is right now. If you look at comedy, there's not many comedies that's going in movie theaters. Studios have been afraid for some reason of comedies. Everybody wants to do a $400 million superhero movie. And that's all they're doing. And what's beautiful about Netflix is they embrace comedy and they embrace diversity. Think about how many, we had a great renaissance back in the 90s in the 2000s. We had Juice, we had Don't Be a Menace, we had John Singleton doing movies, we had Spike doing movies. Like, we had a second coming of a renaissance. How many black movies you see nowadays?
The indie game. I'll talk from the indie game. All the black movies that go like Beale Street,
Yep.
Widows, Last Black Man, San Francisco. It's all coming out of art house movie houses like A24.
They're not doing it no more. They're not. But there was a time when you had Screen Gems, you had Sony, you had now. But what's beautiful about and Netflix, and then they wouldn't travel us. You know what they tell you as a black artist? Your movies don't translate overseas. Me and my brothers, quiet as kept. They say comedy and urban don't translate overseas. All of our movies, White Chicks did $137 million worldwide. Scary Movie made $300 million worldwide. These movies were made by black men, produced, written, starred black men that have done hundreds of millions of dollars. So that's nonsense. That's all an excuse. What's beautiful about Netflix is they're in 200 million homes in over 200 countries. So when I did Naked did well in Ghana, Naked did well in Sweden, Naked did wonderful in Brazil. It was #1 in 193 countries. So a movie like this has a shot on a platform to be everywhere in the world, and there's no excuses. It's not about there's a black star, so we're not gonna show it in Sweden. They're not gonna get it. No, they show it everywhere. I just came from tour in Brazil. They sent me to Brazil to go promote the movie because it's a huge territory for me. Yes, we have Brazilian people watching black stars, but there's certain things they don't tell you. But what I love about the platform of Netflix is it's everywhere and it's colorless. So I embrace that and embrace them for embracing me.
So I have a question.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Are you guys looking to create your own publishing?
What's up?
Probably that
Yeah,
cookie.
some cookies. You was tearing some cookies.
I
I see you.
couldn't help. But my question is, are you guys looking to create your own like entity where you do your own movies, you're publishing them, you're putting them out, where you basically are cutting out the middleman?
I wouldn't be against that, but I think that's a collective effort that's going to have to happen between me and my brothers to sit down and go, yo, this is what we're going to do, and you're going to have a nice deep pocket behind you in order to get those things done, to do the productions, to do even the technology on that is a lot. But you can do that, or you can go to a platform and find a home, or just keep creating like you create. And now that you have all these different, you have so many different buyers. You have more than Netflix. If Netflix don't want, my next special, there's so many other places to go. So for me, as a producer, wow, look at how many places I get to sell. So it's not me sitting there waiting on one person or one company. I can go anywhere.
So how do you incorporate social media into this new way? It's different before. How do you incorporate social media into your promotion, your marketing, and?
Well, I think it gives the fans a chance to really get to know you. I'm a lot deeper in my posts than I am probably in real life. I mean, it's like I'll post something about my kids or my children's mom, and you'll be like, wow, that's dope. That you express that card like that. Like you get to see another side of a celebrity. And also it's a great vehicle to connect with fans. They DM me, I DM them back. They tweet me, I retweet them, or I tweet them back. Sometimes they want advice. I'll send them, hey, how do I get in the industry? Well, here's what you need to do. Hey, I want to write movies. Well, here's 7 books that you should read, and I'll send them that. It's a great way to possibly connect. Now people beg too much on that. My mama need a liver. Well, nigga, I can't help you with that. I need my own liver.
Oh, that's funny. I just saw a post today. Somebody said they needed a kidney. I was like, I didn't want to like it or not like it. I had to keep on scrolling. It does work. It does work.
The thing, sometimes you get these. Sometimes people reach out and you hear a story, like when the hurricanes was happening, I would take in some people's stories, and it was like, yo, I have nowhere to go, blah, blah, blah. So I would Western Union them some money, or Cash App them some money, or I'd FaceTime with them, I see what their situation is, and I would help them out. But that's because my heart felt that in that moment for that person. But if I did that for everybody, then I'd be having to hit other celebrities like, listen, I help everybody. Can y'all help me? But that was a time of when people really need it. And I'll sometimes I'll go on and I'll see like what do you call those those donations things?
GoFundMe.
GoFundMe. And I'll hear a story and I'll just throw anonymous, $500, or instead of doing that, I'll post it to my fans and hope that that gets them $7,000 or whatever. So, I try to help out. I feel like, a man can only be as generous as his means. And for me, my generosity always has to start at home. I gotta make sure my family is right. I got my mama to take care of. That's my first priority. My mama, then my kids. You know what I mean? And I love my kids. I make sure they're right. My nephews, my nieces, we got a big tribe. Mm-hmm. And then once I reach outside of them, I gotta go back to my neighborhood and get folks like me that, like, I rebuilt the gym in my neighborhood. I don't do these big promotions like I did this, but I don't do it for that. I do it for the kids in the neighborhood that needed a gym. I donate. I give them Christmases some years. I do the best that I can as a human being to give back to my community.
Question, you were on the Breakfast Club, and the one thing that I like that you said is we have to work more with each other and get out of the thing. One of the things seems to be, and you can speak on it, are you doing your part to include, especially with movie making and writing and directing women, especially women of color? It seems as though we're having all the diversity slogan discussions, but also us as a community, do you feel we need to do a better job? Because it seems a lot of the women are getting embraced by the other community. They're getting funded for their projects by that community, but we are not.
Well, a lot of our community don't have real funds yet. We're getting it, but I always empower women. I always, you could ask any woman on my set, they love, it's home base. They always feel safe. They always feel loved. They always feel protected. They always feel they got somewhere to go. Essence, I walk out the room, you grill them. You be like, nigga, I need to marry this man. That's just my heart. I was raised with 5 women that I love to death. My mom, my sisters, my nieces, my nephews. I love women. You ain't heard, my family loves women. All this Me Too shit, y'all ain't heard nothing about Wayans. You know why? Because my daddy taught his boys to respect and love women. Because we watched him respect and love my mama. He honored her, and therefore we honor ours. That's why it's important that men need to stay around and be better examples for their kids, because you're raising young kings, and if you're gonna raise a young king, then a young prince, then you need to be a good king. And he needs to see that. You need to protect their mama from all these other nasty little animals out here. And my brothers did a good job of raising us in that way. That's just not, I didn't get into this industry to get laid. I came in this industry, to make waves, to knock down doors, to make it, to make a name for ourselves, to make a name to contribute to not only the Wayans legacy, but continue to contribute to the African American legacy, to our people. Like what we've done over the years, we've kicked down doors, and it feels good when you see, when they make a movie like Black Panther, my heart goes, oh my God, thank God. Thank God. We've been trying to get stuff like this done for years. Damon tried with Blank Man years ago. Robert Townsend tried with Meteor Man. But now they're gonna put $300 million behind. Oh, thank God that's why we do it. But when it comes to diversity and really supporting that, I do it. Brisha Webb, I didn't even audition her for this movie. I know what Brisha could do. I didn't audition her for Marlon. I don't need to see her. I know what she does. As soon as Brisha came to LA, I seen her perform. I was like, yo, you are incredibly talented. I want to help shepherd and help you make it. Now, I can't make her make it. You got to do the work. My brothers could give me opportunity, but I got to do the work. And sometimes when they're not able to offer the opportunity, now I create my own opportunities because they taught me how. I hope that I'm teaching Essence. I hope that I'm teaching Brisha. I hope I'm teaching my nieces and my daughter. I hope I'm teaching them how to do it by letting them stay close to me and offering them opportunities when I can. And Brisha, I've had several talks with Brisha in my kitchen. You ain't doing enough. You talking about it. You ain't doing enough. How many times you hit the stage this week? Well, you give me excuses. I ain't no excuses. I ain't asked you for an excuse. I said, how many times I put none. Right. Yeah, you want to do a one-woman show. But how do you get this done? And I challenge her in that way. And then before I know it, she puts it up. All right, good. Now here's how you're gonna rewrite it. There's no short steps. There ain't no shortcuts. My brother, when we did Don't Be a Menace, we did 19 drafts before first day of shooting. But those 19 drafts, the director messed our movie up. We had to redo a whole movie in 7 days with a $300,000 budget. Me and Sean had to rewrite a brand new movie and film it in 7 days. But you know what? Those 19 drafts that Keenan made us do prepared us for this new movie we had to write. And that's what became Don't Be a Menace. So just do the work. Everybody want a handout, and there's no handouts. I can offer you opportunity. If you're not ready for the opportunity and you kill that opportunity, what you've done is you set yourself back 10 years. So be prepared for the opportunity so when it hits, you can take advantage of it. It's all preparation. So Risha has a really great one-woman show that I'm gonna help her get done. You know, I thought it was a great opportunity for this movie that I knew was about family and it had good themes. That I wanted a beautiful chocolate leading lady. You know, I've done the other side of it. I love, you know, my mama light skin. I love light skinned women too. My sisters is dark skin. I love every shade of black. I love them all. But I'm not gonna be pick and choose and just go, I'm just going one. Because this ain't the 40s or the 50s where, oh, she gotta be light skinned. No, you can show an array of black females. And she just so happens to be a beautiful chocolate woman with insane amount of acting ability. And I was like, I want you to play my leading lady in this. And I think it's a good look. And we look good together. It's a sweet movie. She holds it down. Her acting is phenomenal. And it's a chance for Hollywood to get to see her as a leading lady. And as my sister, I want that for her. Just the same way I wanted that for Essence. Essence was in Marlon. She was in Haunted House. Haunted House 2. Essence been working with me for years. I love it. I love it. So as much as I can do to afford those opportunities, I will. You know, Tiffany Haddish was on a show I had years ago called Funniest Wins. And she didn't win, but every week she got to showcase what she do. I knew Tiffany could be funny. I knew she could do these things. But every week she got to showcase what she does. And I'm happy to see her out there doing it. And we should all be happy for each other, and we should all support each other. We can't all talk about how we want it. Audience has a job too. And journalists, we all have jobs. I'm not a journalist, but you know, everybody has a job in this, and we have to support each other. They taught us to break each other down for whatever means, because it's an interesting article. No. We need to find ways to build each other up, because that's how you get through a door. It's a cohesive, collective effort. Period. I sound like you now. Thanks.
Okay. I wanted to ask a question.
Yes.
So, what is some advice that you would give yourself 10 years ago? Yeah.
Get on stage. The development I've had in the past 10 years, honestly, stage has helped me more than anything, because of the fact that I'm performing every weekend in front of people, telling stories that aren't funny stories. Some topics aren't funny, but finding the funny in it and learning how to articulate what's funny about it, I feel like it's making my humor more appropriate. Like I hear, before I didn't care if I heard I didn't know. I was like, the reaction good. You're listening. But now if I hear, that means you're listening. Now how do I bring you back to get you to a laugh? Or if I ain't got that, let me go a little deeper and discover, depending on how small the crowd is. But at a point, I may just want to abandon that joke altogether. So now I sit in the editing room and go, nah, that may be offensive in the South. I don't need to do that. This is the first movie that I didn't do. I probably cursed 2 times. I showed no body parts. There was no body fluids. There was no breasts. There was no sex, barely one, and we cut off as he went down like that. Like, it was a really fun, family-friendly movie. My kids looked at me afterwards and was like, Dad, you wrote that? I was like, yeah. And my son was like, I didn't put my hands over my eyes once. And my sister was like, Marlon, I'm so proud of you. Like, you hit all the good things. Your characters was real, like they were sweet. They all had heart. The movie had heart. It was appropriate. She said it made me feel good. It had good themes. Cause my sister hard on me. My sister has gotten up. She won't walk out, but she'll sit in the back of the bed like. And afterwards, at the premiere, you know better than to be humping on stuffed animals. You were too damn old to hump a stuffed animal. But Kim, I know, but it's just the brand of humor for this thing. I know, but boy, you too old for me to be saying this, but grow up. But this is the one movie that she called me up the next day, still laughing, still talking about how great the character was, how proud she was of the choices that I made. And I had to, honestly, I had to credit stand-up with that. Stand-up is making me listen better, communicate better, lay off the punch. I don't always have to be physical. My next stand-up is not even physical at all. It's just storytelling, stuff about truth and life. And my show Marlon taught me appropriateness and how to have heart and how important heart is. Stand-up teaches you that. The stories that I'm telling about my kids or me parenting are real stories. And I gotta talk about things that hurt me. And because there's people in the crowd that's hurting too, you know, and so you can help them with your pain by making them laugh and understand that, you know, you have an ability to teach. What we have as a platform, as an artist, is so much deeper than a laugh. And as long as I keep doing stand-up and I keep digging toward making myself a better all-around artist, I think, you know, I'm just now hitting a place where I'm discovering all I can do. First 20 years was learning. These next 20 years is about really putting it all together and doing great things.
I last interviewed you when you did a haunted house we were with CBS 3.
I'm sorry.
From that interview to this, I'm going to see a great evolution between those two, that time span.
That was 8 years ago?
I can see a real, just like your whole demeanor. We were real silly for that.
Yeah. But I was younger,
Yeah.
and once again, I didn't do stand-up, so my outlet was when I got to talk to people, I was like, now I do stand-up every weekend. I'm doing, you guys come out, I'm doing